There's one thing that has been helping me out this year. It has been really focusing on my like morning routine and specifically journaling, feeding my mind, those kind of things. I've always really done like the get up and work out situation, and I've always done the planning situation, but I haven't always put as much emphasis in the mornings, especially on my mental health and keeping track of things and stuff like that. And so I've changed that this year, by adding some new journals into my routine and just kind of changing the way that I interact with my journals. And so I thought we would walk through this. I have a different video where I go through like each of the journals that I keep in my journaling basket guy situation here. One might call it a morning basket. That's a term I came across on Pinterest. I read about it in someone's blog and they talked about having a morning basket. They had adapted it from a homeschooled idea of like having things that kind of feed your mind in the morning to something you could do for yourself. And that's kind of where this has come from. The idea, especially of keeping it all together in a basket, has really stemmed out of that. But just the idea of like really taking time to feed your mind in the morning, and it has made a really huge difference like mentally, and I'm really looking forward to that because today I'm feeling a little bit scattered and crazy mentally, so I will be very appreciative of this little session. Now it's actually not morning today, so I typically do this first thing in the morning, but if I have something first thing in the morning, I'm not stressing about getting myself up super early in order to do this. So instead, I'll just do it when I get home. So today I got up and went to a workout class early, and then I had an appointment right after that. And so by the time I went and did those things and ran some errands, it's like 2 o'clock, but we're gonna do it just the same way as always. Some of the things I shared in my like what's in my basket video, I use every day, and some things in my basket I don't use every day. So it just kind of depends on the day and what's going on, but I'm gonna kind of walk you through the steps that I typically take and how I do that. So first step is always to read my Bible. I am a Christian, have been for ever basically. And this year I really got serious about like reading my Bible. It was something that I've been like very off and on. For a while I was like reading it all the time, and then I wasn't reading it a lot, and like I've just over the years back and forth. And this year I was like, you know what, I would actually like to like really make a priority of that. And so that's been something that's been big this year. I'll link all these. I'll link whatever I can down below. This guy's from Amazon. I got it for Christmas, but I like sent my mom a link of like, hey, I like this Bible, you should get it. And then the tabs are also from Amazon. I did add them myself. And this is a journaling Bible. So it has like space on the sides, which I liked because I wanted to be able to interact a little bit more with my Bible than previously. So here's kind of my situation. I typically read about 3-ish chapters in the Bible. So right now I am in 2 Samuel. If I am in, how shall I say, not my favorite books of the Bible, like Numbers, Leviticus, things like that, then I'll typically read 2, and then I'll read out of Psalms, just because I do really enjoy Psalms, and so that just kind of evens it all out a little bit for me. But so far I've gotten through the whole New Testament, and I'm at 2 Samuel for the Old Testament, and it's halfway through the year, so I feel like that's doing pretty well. So I'll read through this. If I have anything I want to highlight, I always keep my highlighter right there. I'm using the same one for this year, and then next year I'll pick a different color. Thought that would be kind of fun. And then if I want to, I might write in the corners. If I want to, I might draw in the corners. You might have seen I have some little like doodles. I have some little spots where I've like written things on the side, or I really like doing hand lettering, so hand letter, stuff like that. So we'll just see. If there's nothing that I want to do those things for, then I don't stress about it. So that's kind of how I go with that. Now, after I read through my 3 chapters, I will pull out this guy. This has been my like Bible journal, I guess. And so in here, I always do, I don't think there's anything too crazy in here. I'll put the date, and then I write whatever I read that day. I copy whatever my like memory verse is, because I've been trying to memorize verses. So I'm on my second one. I just started that like a couple weeks ago. And so I write that out, and that helps me to remember them better. And then if I had anything that like stood out to me that I want to like write, sometimes if it's like one little note, I'll write it in the margin. If it's something longer that I want to kind of just dissect and think about, then I'll write it in here. So I'm trying to see. Yeah, so like here I had like 2 pages about 1 Samuel 1, where like just the whole story with Hannah and having Samuel and that kind of stuff. And it really stood out to me because if you're familiar with the story, Hannah really wants to have a child, and so she prays and prays and prays, and finally she prays and she says, if I have a child, I will dedicate him to the Lord. So she ends up having the baby. Because she made that promise, she then dedicates him to the Lord and gives him up, and he ends up becoming Samuel, who is a priest and a prophet, and so, and like basically led Israel for years and years and years. It was a really big deal. But what was interesting to me was like, if she hadn't been like wanting a child and not being able to have a child for a long time, then she wouldn't have made that promise, and she wouldn't have given him to the Lord, and he wouldn't have become this like awesome person. So that kind of stood out to me on that day. And then she had more children after that. So if I have something like that, I'll write it down. If not, then I don't, and I don't stress about that. And then I usually write down a quick little prayer. That's the story about that. So that whole thing usually takes like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, so I finished with Bible stuff. Then I pulled out this guy, which is just a blank notebook, and did some like regular journaling. I don't do that every day. I probably do it every 2 to 3 days. And as far as time-wise, it varies greatly. Today I only wrote like 2 pages, which for me is like nothing. So it took maybe 5 minutes. And mostly I was just trying to figure out like what I want to do the rest of this week. Other times, if I'm trying to like solve a problem, or if I've got a lot on my mind or things like that, I have been known to journal for pages and pages, you know, sometimes like 10 pages at a time. But it just kind of depends on what I need, really and truly. So that's an optional thing that I do sometimes. The next kind of step, so those 3 things kind of fall under like spiritual, mental health. The next kind of section is more like trackers. So these are, get away from me. She was laying totally fine until I started talking, and then she started attacking. All right, you gotta move. So next up is trackers. So as far as tracking things go, these are also optional. So first of all, I have a book journal. And so if I have anything to track in here, like if I finished a book or I want to write about a book, those go in here. I did not finish any books like yesterday or today, so I don't have anything to do in this one. I probably open it up once a week, maybe once every other week, because I'm usually reading 2 books at once, sometimes 3 books at once. And so I just mark off when I have a new book that I've finished, or if I finished a book of the Bible, I mark that off in here too. So that's what that's for. So I don't need that one today. This guy is my budget tracker, and it's also just a blank notebook, but I just keep track of my expenses. I do need to write something in there because I did purchase something this week that I haven't put in there. I got opera glasses. super pumped about that because we're going to the opera. Not until November, but I am super excited. So we got opera glasses. Actually, that's something I need to put on my list for today, is to look for a pair for husband for his birthday, but don't tell him. So I am gonna open that up and I'll just add that, and that takes, you know, 30 seconds to just see in my app like how much money I spent and then put it down here. So that's also something that I don't always do. Next up is my bullet journal, and this one has more things that I track in it. So I'll go through, and I like to actually flip through every page, and that's kind of the thing I've done intentionally, is to make sure that I am actually using the pages as intended. So I'll flip through and I'll look at everything, and I'll look at my calendar and see what's going on, and I'll mark off all of like the habits that I've done, and I'll look at my plans for this quarter and for this month and just kind of check those things out. And so this is kind of partially tracking and then partially planning, because the last step is to look at my plan for this month and then to put things on my plan for today. So my planning system has, I'll link a video down below with more in depth, but I just use a blank Erin Condren notebook. You don't have to use those. I just like them because they're fun and you get to customize the covers, and I like that. So I just do a preview page at the beginning, and so on here I just write down anything that's going on the left, and then things that I want to do. So then on the daily, what I do is I look at the preview page, check off anything that I've finished, and then I'll go and put things on my to-do list for that day. Now today's Monday, so I don't have anything checked off of my list yet because I haven't done anything yet. But that's what I would typically do. And then I'll write down my plans for today and what I want to do. And I have been color coding recently. If you've been around, I used to color code my tasks, and then I stopped, and then I went back to it. So I'm jumping ahead a little bit because I do need to write in there and here, but we're gonna flip ahead. So I am gonna go to July. I need a little tabby thing. And July is this fun sea turtle theme. You can't see that. It's so cute though. Oh no. Look how cute my sea turtle is. Oh my gosh. My camera's broken, which is why I just cannot get anything in the frame anymore. So I have these cute little sea turtles. And so I'll look through here, and I have like my focus for the month, like most important things. And then the next page I have my calendar, and then I have like broken down by week what I want to do. So I'll just look at that, look at my preview page, add anything to today's list. So like I need to order, oh, it is thundering out there, husband birthday present, and I'm ordering a new desk. Those are two things I need to do today. And then I am gonna color code them. So what I do for that is I just have a color for different parts of my life, and I just literally write it down. So I need to write emails. That's gonna be blue for Becca's music room. I don't have all my colors over here. Where's my green? I didn't sit in my couch, and so I'm too far away. Green, because I need to work on Becca's Bible class project. I need to film this video. So what did I decide? I think I decided this is gonna be pink, and I was changing my teacherpreneur stuff to orange, or the other way around. I don't know. You're gonna be pink today. And then I think everything else is personal, which makes it purple. Clean the living room, vacuum, change sheets, do the laundry, and order things. So when I'm done, then it looks like this, and I just find that that makes it a lot easier for me to look at a glance and kind of tell what I should be working on, and it just kind of like helps me to organize it in my head of kind of like, you know, the different categories of things that are going on, because I know like, okay, if I'm sitting at my computer, I need to work on things that are blue or things that are green. versus like cleaning is purple, and so that's gonna be a little bit different. So that's kind of my whole morning routine, 2 o'clock in the afternoon routine. It seems like a lot of steps, and it probably is, but it's not that long. So the whole thing, I would say maybe takes me 30 minutes, depending on how much I write. Sometimes I write a lot, and sometimes I don't write at all. And so it just kind of depends on that. I can finish it in like 10 to 15 minutes. But I do like to take my time because I enjoy this process and it just makes me feel better. This is happening. Okay, I'm gonna go. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you later.